Sir, you too.
Sheriff Skipper.
There's some things you just don't let this slide. You're not going now, are you? It's funny. No, and you can tell.
Everybody start gathering back around. We're gonna get started. We can socialize here in just a few minutes, hopefully. Ain't no.
It only gets worse. I can tell you, it only gets worse. I said it only gets worse.
Call the council meeting back in session. Moving right along, approval of bids, and there are none tonight, so we'll go into appointments, item number 12. Ms. Wilson, you have any appointments, any boards or commissions?
Chairman,
Okay.
just a point of order. Mr. Burns, did you want to do this thing about the bid relative to the Charter Communications?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Okay. Ms. Wilson has no appointments, any boards or commissions. How about you, Mr. Crowder? Mr. Moore? Ms. Floyd?
Not at this time.
Mr. Allen?
None at this time.
Waters? Thank you. This time, we have a request from council members. I lost my piece of paper. Did y'all? Okay, Mr. Waters has got it. I'll start now. Mr. Waters, he can request from council members. Mr. Waters.
Okay, I have two at this time. For the Foothills Alliance Community Giving Tree, I'd like to ask to appropriate $100 to that.
And that's for abused kids, I believe.
Yeah. And then I'd also like to bring this as a motion for the $500 for the fire chiefs in Anderson County. For the
Association help put being on the First State Fireman thing, doing paperwork. You have a second?
Second.
Take Mr. Allen, any discussion? All in favor of the motion, show of hands. Opposed, like sign. Is that anything else, Mr.?
That's all.
Mr. Allen?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I have the same two. One would be for the Fire Chiefs Association state meeting here. I'd like to take $300 out of my rec account for that. And also for the Foothills Alliance Christmas tree would be $100. That's all of them.
Second.
Second, Ms. Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor? Opposed, like so, the motion carried. Ms. Floyd?
Mr. Chairman, I was not asked to allocate any money at all from District 2's account for either one of these things. So could you just please come back to me after I've read what this is all about?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
And Ms. Floyd, the fire chiefs don't need any money from you.
Then why are you giving money?
They just needed that little bit, and I'm going to give a little bit. It's already been committed, so they ain't really taking nothing from you unless you know what you call it. What I'm saying is.
So you don't want my money, right?
No, ma'am, there's no need, but those people do. Ms. Wilson?
Yes, thank you. The town of Pelzer has a request of $4,000 to go toward the swimming pool, a swimming pool awning for the shade, and I would like to make the motion to appropriate this funding from the District 7 recreation account.
Have a second. Mr. Moore, any further discussion? All in favor of the motion, show of hands. All opposed, like sign, so the motion carries unanimously. Anything else, Ms. Wilson?
Thank you, that's all.
Mr. Crowder?
I have no funding request. What?
Might want this Christmas tree thing here. There's
All right, I didn't see it.
I think needs to put that in get on the thing there.
All right, how much of it have
$100.
people been given?
$100, what they asked for $700 paid. You can.
Well, I recommend that $100 be given to the Foothills Alliance Community Giving Tree out of my recreation.
Second.
Second, Ms. Wilson, will have any discussion? And all in favor of the motion, show of hands. Opposed, like sign, so the motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Moore?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to also give $100 to Foothills Alliance.
Have a second. Second, Ms. Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor of the motion, show of hands. All opposed, like sign. Thank you, Mr. Moore. Ms. Floyd?
About this, didn't hear about it, but it's dealing with children. I mean, what is it?
What is it?
What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What is it? What
council its total request of $700. Then what they will do is decorate the tree, and then they will auction that tree off for thousands of dollars, and it goes to the Foothills Foundation for Sexually Abused Children for counseling and support services.
All right. Yes, I would like to allocate from District 2's recreation account $100
Second.
for this thing.
Second. Ms. Wilson, any more discussion? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion, show of hands.
Mr. Chairman,
I got,
may I
ahead,
do
go ahead,
that
yes,
from
ma'am.
District
Yes, ma'am.
7? I didn't see
Okay.
that, but I understand the necessity. Please appropriate 100 from the District 7 recreation account for the,
we have a second. Second, Mr. Moore, any discussion? None, all in favor of Ms., that's unanimous, $100 also out of Ms. Wilson's account. District 5's account, I'd like to appropriate $100 to the Foothill Alliance Community Giving Tree, and also out of District 5's account, $800 to the Fire Chief Association to help tidy up our event that they brought into Anderson County. I had to put those two in form of a motion. Any discussion? On favor of the motion, show of hands. Opposed, like sign, so motion carries unanimously. Thank y'all very much. Moving on. Number 14, Administrator's Report.
Mr. Chairman, at the
Burns.
last meeting, I brought before council the request from Habitat for Humanity for the little building directly behind their building, and they're requesting that council entertain the idea of them taking possession of that. They would use it for storage. The only thing that we've ever done to it is put a door on it. We've had no use, no anything to do with it. It needs some work. That's their request.
Can we, forward Mr. Burns, put that on the agenda if that's all right for next council meeting? And give everybody, again, a chance to see what they want to see and talk to an attorney or something other. Mr. Pitts, I'd just like to ask you, get with the administrator and see if they would work. Maybe if we just done like a 20-year lease or something other for $5, $10, instead of giving away something other, we'd have a lease. That might be just an option. Look at, see if that wouldn't work or something other.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Chairman.
Ms. Wilson.
Just a quick clarification. Doesn't really give a page number, but on the administrator's report, there's a transfer from council District 4 to transfer
Ms.
out of
Wilson.
general fund.
Is
And
that, is that under F or G? You know? Under Administrator's Report,
It's
you got
under
transfers.
administrator's report, and I'm.
They got two categories there. I was just trying to keep up with.
Oh,
You got a
okay.
G and an F for
I'm
transfers.
not sure, let's see. I'm sure there's an explanation, but I just hadn't seen it done that way before. It would be under, not sure, it's not tabbed.
Well, go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I was just trying to keep up, try to find you. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I apologize.
It's not really tabbed. It would be the
Must be the last one.
third or fourth one from the very last, so that's probably G. And I just hadn't seen a transfer done this way. It's District 4, Department 5829 to, but it says transfer out general fund, and it gives the account number there, $2,000. And then the next one, transfer in District Rec, and gives those numbers, and then it transfers to Parks Professional Department 5065. I know we're having to do things a little bit different because of that proviso.
We are, yes, ma'am. I apologize, I didn't print those out, part of the administrator's report, but as I recall, I believe that's for Porta Johns, for the parks that District 4 appropriated, and the rest of them that you see are exactly what you stated. We have to establish a new account with a specific name and transfer money down as council appropriates to those not-for-profit agencies.
Oh, so these were part of District 4's appropriation on another item then?
Yes, ma'am, that's
Okay.
Porta
It was
Johns.
just
And we pay
different.
for that out of the general fund, Park and Recs Department. That's
Okay.
providing for
All
that.
right, thank you.
You don't have anything else?
Yes,
Forward.
over here it says to transfer money, $500, to provide funds for the Belton's Farmers Market These funds were not requested when the budget was prepared. The division is Parks, Recreation, and Tourism. I didn't know that they had an account. I didn't know that they had money in that department.
They didn't, ma'am. It wasn't approved in the budget. That's when we had to do a budget transfer to help out with the salaries of that farmer's market manager in
And it's
Bell.
coming out of professional services?
Yes, that's a contractual item, so, because it's not our employee, so that's why.
Okay, now you have two here for them. Why is it necessary to do two?
It's coming from two different accounts.
So it's $1,000,
I believe so, yes, ma'am, if I recall.
because one is coming from printing. Yeah. Do you think that's why these departments are having to come back for transfer? Because we transfer so much money out of their accounts that when they need that money, they have to come back to us to transfer some back in? Do you think that could be the reasons?
We try to avoid that at all costs. It happened with fuel, as Ms. Wilson pointed out, in a certain department, but we try not to do that if we think they need it. If historically they have needed that, we, advise them not to do that.
Okay, but if, I was under the assumption, maybe I'm wrong, please correct me, that if a budgeted item was not turned in on time or given to the proper people for consideration, that you just missed out. I didn't know you could go back and say, well, I didn't get it in on time, so, give me what I need now anyway.
That's typically the case. We made a commitment to the city of Belton, I understand, and this is unique in the fact that the farmers market department was done away with in the budget year we're in now. So in the midst of taking any cost that we need and moving it to Parks and Rec, it was oversight. It just was not provided for. The department didn't ask for it, and it was new personnel running the farmers market. So it was a transition period during the budget season, so that's why it got overlooked.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? Moving on.
That's it.
Item number 15, citizens' comments. Please, Mr. Pitts calls your name, state your name and district, and address the chair, please. Pitts.
Chairman, first up is Mark Powell.
Mark Powell, District 7. Thank you all for passing a resolution tonight officially requesting that the state legislature change the Constitution so that the 10.25% can be dropped, more equitable term. Talked about the budget and budget transfers. One of the presidential candidates this past Saturday night in the debate, when they talked about giving money to other countries, said we ought to go to zero base. In other words, every year when we give money to a foreign country, that's how much you're getting. You come to us and tell us what you did with it last year and explain to us why you think you ought to get it this year. I know y'all talked a little bit about zero-based, very little. You talked about it for our county budget. But within doing that, I think everyone would have to come to you with a clean slate every year. And a couple other candidates agreed with the zero base and talked about it for the full budget for our nation. If it's not too complicated to think about on the national level, I don't think it's too complicated on the county level. Attorney's fees were brought up tonight and the lawsuits that are going on. Everything we're spending is open to the public. I wish the people who have sued our county would have to open their checkbook to see if they did even pay their crappy little lawyer a dime. Because these lawyers are costing us a fortune in some of the frivolous lawsuits that are going on. So I wish, since we publish everything, everyone who sued us, I wish had to show how much they spent. Because we have to show how much we spent to defend us. I wish they had to show how much they spent trying to cause us grief. It would be a wonderful thing to see how much people actually write to their lawyer. Conversation with Jackie Hunter was direct, looked me straight in the eye with very much concern. I hope y'all look into that. I don't know exactly what he's talking about. I still don't. But he was very adamant and very passionate about it. I find it interesting that when I mentioned the $159 rent per month for a building that we're supplying electricity and janitorial service, toilet paper, blah, 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 the expression on the chairman's face was, "You're full of crap as usual. You don't know what you're talking about." And then when the lady came up, he asked the first question, that $900-something, that's per month? No, sir, that's a total for the 6-month period. And I say that to say that you guys get a lot of information. I get that little packet. You get more than I do, actually. You get a lot of stuff to look through. Do your work and look through it, because it's $159 a month. It's not $950 a month. And we're supplying the electricity, and we're going to fix the building if it falls apart, even though we want to tear it apart because it's in such terrible condition. But that kind of brings up 911. It's supposedly got bugs that don't exist anywhere else in the world. I didn't realize where that building was. That is a beautiful building. I have no clue what you have plans for that thing, but it is one of our most architectural cool buildings we have. I hope we don't tear it down just because it's got some bug that nobody in Anderson County or in the world knows what we have over there. So hopefully we don't tear those buildings down that 911 is moving out of, because they're very architecturally pleasing buildings.
Elizabeth Fant?
Several things. Elizabeth Fant, District 3. I want to talk about volunteering. We got a lot of people in Anderson County that volunteer. They are a rock for us. I'm a volunteer, or was a volunteer. I'm a volunteer. One of the times recently when I was out volunteering at the shelter, I noticed that the month previous, well, actually 2 months since the sign had been put up, the portable sign, wound around, nobody even stopped to fix it. So I get out of my car and I fix it. Mr. Burns has seen me several times when I get out of my car. Yeah, my car is a joke because I carry a lot of stuff in it. But I get out and I see a weed out here in the parking lot or coming into the county courthouse, and I clip it. Volunteer. One day, Mr. Burns was over in the Belton parking lot, and he didn't have enough stamps. Out I whipped, and I paid for his package to get mailed. Volunteers are important. Don't knock us. Next. Last week was kind of a total lack of transparency again. There was questions by Ms. Wilson about the shelter. Instead of reading the questions and reading the answers, the chairman said, "We don't need to hear those." And so they were not read. Answers were not read. Never became a part of the official agenda. Hang on a second here. I want to read to you a true story. Get it here. Probably can't get it. Anyway, the government that governs best governs least. We're still spending a whole lot of money. You got to do at home what you hope the federal government is eventually going to do. There are lots of places still that we need to look to cut money. You all were elected, some of you elected, just 3 years ago. And I keep remembering on November the 17th, that awful night when democracy and justice was miscarried. And some of you got elected to sit up there to get it straight. And I tell you, you've gone way, way downhill.
Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Pitts. Anything else?
Everyone.
Moving on to council comments, Ms. Wilson.
Oh, thank you. I just want to say that it has been very helpful to me and to my constituents to have committees where we can review information and ask questions and have more public input. And I do appreciate the committee system where we can study issues a little closer and then bring it back to council with recommendations, and if it's something important, then the whole council votes. So thanks to all of you who do all of this, and I appreciate being a part of it. Thank you.
Thank you. Crowder?
Thank you, Chairman. I would like to compliment the sheriff. I had several constituents call me relative to follow up on the bath salts and other drugs that we passed an ordinance about, whether or not there were being establishments being monitored to make sure that they were not hiding the drug behind the counter and in the back room and bringing it up. And so I asked him if he would agree to have his narcotics people research that problem, and his lieutenant in charge of that division sent me a nice report that basically stated that they were monitoring, that they had even had reports that drugs were being sold out of a car, and that currently he feels comfortable that everything is under control. Is that not true, Sheriff? He sent me the report with the statement he didn't think he was going to be here tonight. So would you like to make any other comment, Sheriff?
As you see from the report, I think we collected some 1,300 packages of the bath salts or the K2. We had several complaints about folks doing that, so we went back and visited. We're continuing to monitor that. Since then, you can see the report, we have done numerous talks because people have asked, what's going on with it with AU, schools, school activity groups, churches, and various things. So we are monitoring it. The folks that were in the businesses were very cooperative. We obviously feel like with y'all's action in going forward with the ordinance, some of the distributors probably came and got some of that and moved it off to another county, another state, wherever they're. So with you passing that ordinance, I think that helped moving out. Those people that still had it on the shelves were very good about giving it over early, and that was within the first week, and then since then we've been going back and monitoring.
Thanks, Sheriff.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. And thank you, Chairman Dunn, for allowing me to make those remarks.
Thank you, Mr. Crowder. Mr. Moore?
Nothing tonight, Mr. Chairman.
Or Ms. Floyd?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to talk about the different committees that we have. There are several different committees that meet together and work on different subjects and different ideas, and they all do a wonderful job. Sometimes you find yourself on a committee and you just find yourself just meeting all the time because you're on more than one committee. And that's fine too. They do a good job. I chair the Transportation and Planning Committee. I welcome you to come listen to our meetings. And if you have anything that you would like to say or recommend or any advice, please give it. We ask that you please give it to the chair. Call the chairman and talk to them. If there's something wrong and you think we can do it better, then call the chair and talk to them. I don't like the idea of micromanaging everything. We enjoy our committees. We have some of the best meetings in the county, don't we, Mr. Dunn?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and we work very hard. Okay, I want to give the young people call it a shout out, right? I want to give a shout out to the sewer department. Was it wastewater and sewer department? We went up there today to take a look at what they're doing and how things are. I think Mr. Derek Singleton manages that department. I want you to know it is really, really doing well up there. I was so very, very pleased and very proud of Anderson County for the work that it's doing in that area. Folks, you can sleep at night because we are in good hands when it comes to our sewer systems and the thing they do for our county. And I thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Ms. Floyd. Mr. Allen?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, just a quick note. I need to get with you and Mr. Waters probably to set up a date for this vehicle usage policy, the ad hoc committee, where we needed to come up with a log form.
That's Mr. Crowder.
Or Mr. Crowder, Mr. Waters, and so I'll get with the two of you and we'll get something set up, okay? All right, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Waters?
I don't have but one thing, and that was the Veterans Day Parade. I appreciate the hard work that those people put on. It was a very good parade, heard several good comments on it, and they did a good job with that. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Waters. Just a couple things right quick. Housekeeping, I want to thank all the committees for all the hard work they do and everything, and I don't think one committee's trying to slide another one. And I'll make sure I get that explained, get folks and everything, but I appreciate what all committees are doing. Mr. Powell, I apologize to you because for once you was right. I apologize for that. Just kidding about that. I did look at that on the glance thing and see, I thought it was $900 a month, but I do think WorkLink does a great job, and if it'd been for nothing, I'd have voted for them. But I do want to say that. And to the other lady that got up and made the comment about, if you say something enough, you think it's true, but listen, what my comments was about, administrator asked that he need to read that word for word, that report last week. I said, I don't need it, but any other council member is more than welcome to ask for it, and the other 6 didn't. So that was a correct statement. I want to thank all the council members here tonight, and I want to keep a couple things in mind. We have been invited for a drop-in next Tuesday night, 1 week from the night, from 5 to 7, from Mr. Tom Dunaway, city councilman. That's to stop by his loft. Isn't that right, Mr. Crowder? And been working on this a long time. So please try to, I know it's busy next week, but please try to find time to step in there. This is just an informal meeting, just to get to know one another and maybe get some, I think we've got a great interest and good for Anderson County to work together on some things. So I hope, and if I don't know exactly where it's at, Mr. Burns can get you directions to it or whatnot. That's next Tuesday from 5 to 7. Also, we need to have a meeting on the Bosch thing. The Bosch thing's coming up and it's speeding up, and I'll let Mr. Burns explain this. But go ahead, Mr.
Chairman, it is very critical that we have this meeting to have this reading on the Bosch project. It's critical.
They need this for a time-sensitive thing for their people back in Germany, I believe.
Yes, sir, and other matters.
And also, and I would look and ask to do that 2 weeks from the night. That would give us enough time. That would be on the 29th of November. That's not a regular council meeting because there's 5 Tuesdays and that gives time. And also, and that should be Mr. Nelson and Mr. Burns, make sure y'all get all information plenty of times. That should be a very short thing. At that time, council's all right. That's when I would, Mr. Moore's talked about it. I'd like to have a information thing or work like no action, nothing about this reassessment thing. We can have some stuff in, do it, then and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. If that's not a problem.
Wait a minute, when you're going to do?
It's the 29th of November, be 2 weeks from tonight. The Bosch thing has got to be done within this month, and I'll just kill two birds with 1 stone in. Next week's Thanksgiving. I know you're going to be out of town, so we're trying to get in. That'll be 2 weeks, from tonight.
One thing I knew that I would probably have to miss, but I will be missing also the second part, the thing what you just said.
A reassessment workshop.
Yeah, I'll be missing that too?
You're going to be gone. I mean, we need to get it done, and like you said, you've had this just for information, Ms. Florida. You're going to be gone the whole month and the rest of November?
Well, I had planned on it. I mean, since we only had the no scheduled meetings, and I thought I could plan it, but I won't be here. And other times we have postponed things because everybody couldn't be there.
Well, this can't be postponed but so much, but for the simple reason, this has got to be done for Bosch, number one.
I understand the Bosch thing.
And the reassessment thing needs to be done before the next council meeting for second reading, to give people information, give them time about their vote. There's some reason that you just feel like you need to have to be, I'm not downing you nothing, I'm just saying, you made a statement a while ago, and I respect you, and I feel much same, but you've gotten the information and whatnot, so I'm just trying to give people that needs the information or wants the information, an opportunity to acquire the information.
Well, I would like to have privilege to the same type information that everybody else is getting, but I have made my plans. I have made my plans to be out of town because I didn't have any other things to do, but, you know, I know that it's just me, so whatever. It's okay. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. No objections, the meeting will be adjourned. Thank y'all for coming.
keep that? You'll check? Okay, good.